Hello, and welcome back. This is my series where I tell you more about the Empyrean Lords. We go very much in detail with their involvements in the world of Atreya, and also cover some rumors about them. This time we cover the Empyrean Lord of Destruction, Lord Zikel. Lord Zikel is, as his title already says, symbolized by destruction. On his card we see a knight sitting on a throne, with these horns at the bottom. This shows the arrogant, but also aggressive side of Lord Zikel. Behind him we see a massive sword, which symbolizes his fighting prowess. He is a master of all weapons, he is skillful at handling any kind of weapon, but he truly excels with swords. This mastery over all kinds of weapons is also his connection to the gladiator class. Lord Zikel's relic is something that looks like a ring of blades, maybe a chakram, with a red glowing orb in the center. Zikel is known as the right arm of the Asmodean leader Azphel. He executes Azphel's commands without hesitation. Zikel is arrogant and tends to look down on everybody other than Azphel. His reckless and violent nature is also often the cause of conflict between the Shedim lords, with Lord Marketon, the Lord of Fate, outright saying that he dislikes Zikel. Lord Zikel also hates the Seraphim Lords, in particular Lady Ariel and Lord Nezekan. Despite all of this negativity that is thrown at Zikel, there is no shortage of people that follow him. Many people say that he truly cares about the Asmodeans, probably even more than anyone else. And even before the cataclysm, many said that he cared about every person that fought against the Balaur and for their freedom. It is assumed that this is also the reason why he opposed the peace treaty with the Balaur, because the Balaur killed so many of his people. What about all of our soldiers' sacrifices if we now make peace with the Balaur? And with his overall character covered, let's now get into the story of Lord Zikel. Even before the cataclysm, Zikel and Nezekan did strongly dislike each other. When the peace conference with the Balaur was suggested by Israfel, Zikel not only was strongly against it, he also distanced himself from the other Empyrean lords. He wanted to win this war against the Balaur and avenge the many brave lives the Balaur took not only during the war, but also before the Empyrean lords were even here. After being outvoted, the peace talks with the Balaur came to be. These peace talks didn't go well because there was an assassination attempt on one of the Balaur lords. The chaos led to Thracian shooting a huge fireball at the Tower of Eternity. This is what caused the cataclysm and split the world into two. As the Empyrean lords split up to help the people, Zikel without hesitation chose to follow Azphel to the land we now know as Asmodee. On the other half of the planet in Elysia, many people blame Zikel as the person that sabotaged the peace talks. It is easy to blame Zikel there, because everyone knows how quickly Zikel can get aggressive and violent, so that he was the person that caused the fight between the Balaur lords and the Empyrean lords was just a logical conclusion. However, it was wrong. Zikel had nothing to do with what happened there. While Elysia was the sun-bathed paradise, the Asmodean people had it much harder. After the long war where Zikel had watched countless of his good people fall, he now, after the cataclysm, had to watch the people he cared for suffer in this cruel and desolate place. This only fueled his anger more towards the now called Seraphim Lords that voted for the peace talks. The only person he truly respected and followed every command of without hesitation was the now Asmodean leader, the Shedim Lord Azphel. Azphel remained true to his words. He shared similar opinions on the peace talks as Zikel, and now in Asmodee, where all the people have lost their faith and got closer and closer towards desperation, Azphel took the lead and reunited the people and ignited the flame of hope in the Asmodeans. A few hundred years after this, weird rifts started to appear in Asmodee. Lord Marketon, the Lord of Fate, studied them and ultimately came to the conclusion that the rift will open in the desert of Morhaim, and someone or something would be coming through. This caused a lot of panic in Asmodee, because everyone thought the Balau once again are coming to their land and attack them. After hearing this from Marketing, Azphel immediately sent out Lord Zikel to investigate, and if necessary defend Asmodee from this invasion. Without hesitation, Lord Zikel readied his Archons and set out to the desert of Morheim. Multiple reports from the Archons under Zikel say that he was simply standing there, looking at the sky for hours upon hours. He didn't eat, he didn't sleep. It was as if he saw something no other could. Lord Zikel was ready for the Balaur. He was eager to take revenge for the destruction of Aeon's tower. But he didn't expect that Deltras with his Storm Legion would be coming through this rift. Deltras declared that he came here because Lady Ariel and Lord Nezikan ordered him to investigate these weird rifts, and somehow on their attempt to return home, they instead appeared here in this strange place. Zikel was not happy about hearing the names of these traitors. Their weakness caused the destruction of the Tower of Eternity, and ultimately led to many more people losing their lives. Zikel, boiling with anger, told Deltras and his men to kneel before him, and insult his Lord Nezikan, and then Zikel will let him return home. Deltras, angered by the words of Zikel, ordered his legion to start the attack. A battle broke out, and as Deltras tried to attack Zikel, Zikel retaliated with one swift attack and instantly killed Deltras. Many people of the Storm Legion died right at this spot, but a few escaped into the rift that was still open and closed right after only 10 people escaped through it, and a few others escaped to a nearby Asmodean village. Scared and weak, they sought refuge by Asmodean humans. The villagers hid the Ilios from Lord Zikel, but Zikel knew they were here. Without mercy and filled with rage, Zikel executed the remaining Ilios in the village square. Feeling even more anger because of the betrayal by fellow Asmodeans, he cursed the villagers and turned them into Kentari. This Deltras incident was what started the Abyss War, the war between Ilios and Asmodeans. We do not know much about Zikel's involvement in the Abyss War, but rumors say that this shield belongs to Nezikan, and the spear and the arrows are from Lord Zikel. So apparently they fought each other. A sword that fits the shield can also be seen in the Abyss. All of this remains true for both versions of Aeon, Classic and Retail. In the Retail version, Zikel appears one more time. It is in Absoranta. Here Zikel also led the Asmodeans against the Ilios, and it was even more exciting because Lord Nezikan, his arch-enemy so to say, was also on the battlefield at the same time. Now let's conclude everything we know about Lord Zikel. While Lord Zikel is really aggressive and arrogant, the side of him that is not shown so much is that he also cares about his people a lot. He values people that fight for their freedom and for their fallen brothers and sisters. His aggressive nature makes it very easy for others to blame him for negative outcomes. As an example, Zikel got blamed that the peace talks with the Balaur didn't work out, even though he wasn't at fault there. Not to say that he is never at fault, because the Deltras incident actually was Zikel's fault. His arrogance and anger made a possible reunion and peace between Ilios and Asmodeans impossible, and ultimately led to the start of the Abyss Wars. This also escalated his rivalry with Nezikan to absolute hate towards each other, which we can see in the Abyss with what we believe to be Nezikan's sword and shield, and Zikel's spear and arrows. Despite all of the negativity of Zikel, which are absolutely valid, he also deserves that his positive traits are talked about, which it isn't much in the game. I personally like that with these deep dives into the personalities of the Empyrean Lords, we learn more about them than just what is said about them. We see their personality with their actions and involvements in the world of Atreya. Now that is all we know about the Empyrean Lord of Destruction, Lord Zikel. If you want to learn more about specific topics I covered today, I will link everything in the description. For example, I've made a video that goes more in detail with the Deltras story, and the Deltras story also has a comic that I do recommend. Even though it focuses on Deltras, it also includes Lord Zikel. The comic is available for free, but it is only available in Korean. I can definitely recommend checking it out, because Aeon gets not much love in the West with art. The link to the comic will be in the description if you want to read it in Korean or translate it yourself. Or some people in our Discord also translate comics, and you can maybe see something about it there. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them here in the comments or in our Discord server. In the description you can find the links to the videos of the other Empyrean Lords. Or, if you're watching this very early on, feel free to vote in our Discord server on who we should do next. Have a wonderful day and see you in the next one. Bye.